creative and entertainment industries. We talk to those on the rise. Lance Dean Anthony Nielsen asks about the highs, the lows, and everything in between. This is Outcast Creative, and this is Industry Interviews.
Good evening. I think this might be industry interview. Let me just make myself more central. There we go. Revealing Lego Death Star. Fantastic. This might be industry interview 130, but I need to do a bit of admin. There's not been much time to do admin on the channel lately. Why? Well, because I'm in rehearsals for a play. I've just had a book come out. I've been extremely proactive this year because, as we know, times are hard. One has to do what one can to try and find ways to, keep the lights on. So there's been lots going on. All of it's been good. And one particularly good thing, of course, is that our play, Seven Magnificent Egos, which I wrote all the way back in 2017, opens next week at the Rose and Crown Theatre in Walthamstow. Friday night is already sold out, but it's on Wednesday at 7:30, Thursday at 7:30, and we also have two performances on Saturday, one at 2 o'clock and one at 7:30, and our final performance is on Sunday, the 19th of October at 2 p.m, where there's also a YouTubers meetup in the pub. So there'll be a few UK YouTubers there. Do come along, come and watch the play. It's very funny. I've been interviewing my cast over the last couple of weeks, and with me today is no less than the man who plays, well, he plays several roles in the play, but the two most significant roles that he plays are Eli Wallach and Horst Buchholz, one of the original Magnificent Seven. So without any further ado, it is Toby Watts, all the way from East London.
Yeah, just up the road from the theatre.
Just up the road from theatre, exactly. You've got the shortest travel time of all.
Absolutely. So, the number 97 bus has been very good to me all week.
Well, thanks for giving up your Sunday, because we've all technically got a day off today. So thanks for giving up a little bit of time on your Sunday evening before we tread the boards once more tomorrow at the theatre. Before we get into talking about the show and obviously, what it's been like to sort of play these iconic people, just a quick hello to some of our regulars in the chat. Snorter Poopus is here, one of the most interesting names on YouTube. Great to have you here. Where Spencer is here, good to see you, sir. Thanks for popping in. Keith E is here, one of my regular moderators. Do share the stream, guys. Do a quick post about it if you would. Always like to try and get the numbers up a little bit when we're live, is always good. So I've got a standard set of regular questions, and as it's your first time on the channel, Toby, question numero uno, which I always ask all of my guests, is what was the first movie that you saw in the cinema as a kid? Can you recall?
I think it's pretty cliche, to be fair. I think it's Star Wars. It was either Star Wars 2 or Star Wars 3. The Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith. I'm not sure, but
when you say Star Wars, do you mean one of the prequels?
No, the because of the the prequels, absolutely, not the originals.
I mean,
so
you could be talking about the re-release of the originals in the 90s, because they were re-released at that time.
True. I mean, I was born 95, so around sort of the early 2000s when I was starting to go to the cinema is when that would
be the prequels.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was Star Wars, which obviously all of that on a big screen was very entertaining.
Yeah. What was the last film that you saw on the big screen that you paid for a ticket to go and see?
Oh, well, I've got an Odeon card, so I do try and go to the cinema as much as possible. But I think, because I've been away the last couple of weeks, obviously with the film and stuff, I think it was Weapons, the horror film.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that. It's just a batshit crazy movie, but not a bad film. It's nice to see something original and some stellar performances in it as well. Amy Madigan, my God, she was
for
most
sure
unrecognizable,
It wasn't what I expected, I'll be honest, but I did enjoy it. Like, I think the bit from the trailer was the scariest bit in the whole film, where they're in the classroom.
What's the nearest Odeon cinema to you at the moment?
South Woodford, I think. Yeah, South Woodford probably is the closest, but the nicer ones are in central London because you get the recliner seats and things.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, because cinema is, dare I say it, is dying quite rapidly. And I can't remember the last time I went, even on an opening night of a fairly big movie, where you have that vibe of it's all packed out and there's like 200, people in the screen.
Yeah.
Don't see that anymore. Just doesn't.
No, it's a shame, unless it's sort of, and I don't even know if it is for any more, but sort of, franchises and things, they get a bit of a cult following, don't they? At least I remember when it was the old Avengers Endgame and everything, the midnight cinemas and stuff were packed, but unfortunately, for sort of more independent films or standalones, there's not quite that following. But I do try and get to the cinema at least a couple of times a month. Is what the point of the card is. I'm way behind on wanting to see the new DiCaprio one battle after.
One battle after another. Paul Thomas Anderson, who's one of my favorite directors. I'd be interested to, and I've not yet seen it myself. I do want to see that. What would be one of your standout television dramas? I don't need to say since The Sopranos. That's my usual prefix because you were only just born when The Sopranos aired. So I can just ask you the question. What's one of your favorite standout TV drama series that you've watched and gone, oh yeah, that's good. I'd like to be in something like that.
Yeah, I think recently the one that sort of really broke the mold for me was Ozark on Netflix. If you've seen it,
yeah. I used to binge watch that with my ex-partner. We were both very keen on it.
For sure, yeah, and I thought it was fantastic. And it's just done. I don't know if you've seen Black Rabbit, but that was a new one.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet.
Highly recommend.
I've heard good things though.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good. Yeah, I think he's a fantastic actor, Jason Bateman, and obviously going from sort of a more comedy line of things to much more serious things, writing, directing, doing all of that. But yeah, I think he's really, really one to watch at the moment for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny to think that the first big role I saw him in was like Teen Wolf 2,
Jeez, yeah. What was it? Modern Family? Is that what he did as well? I can't remember. There was a comedy. I've not actually seen him in the comedy, but I know I've seen clips of it and things. Which he was sort of a long-standing cast member, regular repeat guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was in Modern. I don't know if he was in Modern Family, but
some
okay.
comedy.
Have you got a standout movie that you'll watch at least once a year?
Standout movie that I'd watch at least once a year. Always go back to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. That's quite.
I literally just finished watching that again for the first time in a few years. I used to watch it every Christmas. It's even now it's just so good. The effects still hold up really well. It's brilliant writing, great acting, just great.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. So they're always a go-to, and I have probably seen Harry Potter more times than I can count. Just because if it's a particularly difficult day, hangover or whatever, stick Harry Potter on in the background is quite comforting. So yeah, they're a good go-to. Sort of just stick it on and you know what's happening almost word for word.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Norwich.
Oh yeah, a home of number one world television personality and presenter Alan Partridge.
Yes, absolutely. He actually did his. We have. I don't know. This is a bit of a sidebar, but we used to have this cinema called Hollywood Cinema in this place called Anglia Square, which is this incredibly rundown concrete block just outside of the centre of the city, and it was a particularly notoriously rundown cinema. They're actually demolishing it now after many years because it's just all very old and dated and half of it was abandoned. But Alan Partridge has deliberately sought out that cinema to do his movie premiere for Alpha Papa, which was quite funny. Instead of going for like the glitz and glamour of Odeon in Leicester Square or something, he chose Hollywood Cinema, Anglia Square to do Alpha Papa.
That's yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So okay, so yeah, so you grew up in Norwich. What was the sort of the segue into the, you know, the acting world, so to speak, for you then? Did you
So
do drama at school, the usual things, or how did it start?
yeah, I mean, sort of as a younger guy, yeah, my parents sort of pushed me into choir and stuff. That sort of led to me being in Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat at Theatre Royal in Norwich. But I sort of went away from it around about the age of 12 and decided that I wanted to go and be a fighter pilot in the RAF, which, as you can see, is going incredibly well.
Yeah, how is that going?
Yeah, not so great. I mean, when it got to I'd always sort of kept up with acting throughout school and been in the plays and things. But when I got to sixth form and I sort of picked my options, I picked all the sort of sciences. But I did keep drama, and it turned out they were doing defence cuts and things at the time, and it just wasn't gonna happen. I ended up actually hating the subjects that I took for going down that path, and ended up going back to my old high school to go to their sixth form. And funnily enough, fell in with this new drama teacher. She put me as Danny in her Grease, and then Galileo in there We Will Rock You. And she was like, you could go to drama school. And I hadn't really thought of it as an actual, you know, career.
So that drama teacher kind of gave you two great leading roles. Okay, college productions and all that, but
yeah,
you know, that's the kind of decision that can have a massive influence going forward. You know, you get the bug.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, she was great. Anna Lawrence, give her a shout out there, bless her. But no, so that sort of led me down that path. I started auditioning. I didn't get anything in the first year, so I just sort of worked in a TGI Fridays, 60 hours a week for all my sins.
Where did you go to drama school?
East 15.
So you were auditioning whilst you were at East 15 at the same.
No, so I basically auditioned. I was at the sixth form, which was Sprowston High sixth form, and then as I was sort of finishing that year, I was auditioning, but I didn't get anything in the first year, so I was just working and auditioning, and then I just did the 1 year foundation intensive. Thought about auditioning again, but sort of luckily came out, got an agent, and well, before the pandemic, it seemed to be getting auditions every week. It was quite good. Unfortunately.
Right.
Pandemic happened, things slowed down, but we're still doing bits and bobs, so I can't complain.
So you're still with the same agent?
No, I'm with a different agent now, actually. So I've moved through about 2 or 3. So just sort of.
So let's just go back a little bit. How did you get the first agent?
So it was just emailing around, really. So yeah, a friend of mine was with an agent, so I emailed them, sent them my spotlight and showreel headshots, had a little chat with them, and they took me on their books. So I was with them for I think about it's a year to 2 years. I was with them, and then again similar sort of thing. Basically wanted to try a difference of approach. So again, it was just emailing, meetings with other agents, a little bit of a trial self-tape. Can you do this for us? And got some good feedback and went from there.
Okay, so because I mean, getting an agent is quite key if you're really determined to, you know, work as a professional actor, regardless of the size of role. And I think now it's probably harder to get an agent than ever before, simply because of the number of out of work actors. The profit margins are probably not the same for agents as they were 10, 15 years ago. Because the rising costs, premises, all of that kind of thing. Of course, a lot of agents, small agencies, kind of base themselves at their house now, or, you know, whatever. And then you've got the big boys in London, the top 10 and the top 5, and the tier below them, and your London managements and your United and all of those.
Of course, that'd be the dream. But no.
Yeah, I mean, bigger doesn't necessarily always mean better in the case of an agency, because you can get lost in the bigger agents if you don't land something big quickly. I think that
Sure.
you're living on borrowed time with them fairly fast. You know,
Absolutely. No, I do think, obviously, as you say, with the bigger agents, you have got those big names in there as well. Your Tom Hollands, etc. Who obviously is why the sort of casting directors are going to them, because they've got an idea of who they want for these particular plays, and usually it goes their way. But you know, you've got to be in it to win it, haven't you? And when a tape comes through, just do the best you can do, really, and hope for the best.
and you've done, based on the number of times you spontaneously break into song during my rehearsals, you've done musical theatre as well, because obviously you did the 2 college plays. They were both musical roles. So were you always like singing from the get-go? Have you gone on to do professional singing lessons, or is that all something that's come naturally? Or just tell us a bit about that side.
Absolutely. I mean, that goes back to again the sort of choir, really, and me being a younger guy and not really wanting to sing that sort of music. So again, I went off that for a couple of years from 12, and basically got to 16. I think Michael Bublé put an album out, of all people. I'm a big Michael Bublé fan, and basically sort of started singing along to this. Thought, oh, actually, I can sing, and being from Norwich, I was like, well, maybe I should get a vocal coach. So I had a look to try and find a vocal coach. There was a guy called Ronan Park, who was in Britain's Got Talent years ago, who was from Norwich. So me being me, I thought, well, he must have had a vocal coach in the area. So I'm sort of Googling Ronan Park's vocal coach, found this lovely little Welsh woman called Kay Webber, who I still go back and see once a month for a little MOT. And yeah, sort of, I sort of called her, had a chat, said, oh, I'd like to come for this for singing lessons, but she was fully booked and said she'd put me on the waiting list. So a couple of months went past, and there was a day where it was snowing, as it was like gridlock traffic. And I called her up and I said, I'm guessing you've got a few cancellations today. Is there any chance I could come in for a lesson? So I walked from Norwich Airport to Norwich City Centre, which is about a 45-minute walk, because he couldn't get in, and had a lesson. And then from that point on, when she sort of made room, and yeah, we're good friends to today. So she's another very influential woman in my life with my singing and stuff.
It'd be great if she came to see the play. That was,
yeah, well, I did tell her about it, but she's a little bit older now, so I think it might be a bit too far afield for her. But,
maybe.
Yeah,
we'll talk about
if we take it to Norwich, she'll be there.
Well, indeed. So, all right, let's talk about the Magnificent Seven, and indeed the play, Seven Magnificent Egos. My script was here, but I've been very efficient today. My bag is already packed for rehearsals. There's yours. Fantastic.
There we go.
So, you're playing the part of you're playing Horst Buchholz. You're also playing Eli Wallach. So there's a couple of different roles. Now, Horst was considered to be the German James Dean. I mean, you can kind of see why from that picture.
Yeah.
The benefit of those people watching, when Toby arrives at rehearsals tomorrow, Julie is bringing some hair straighteners for him, and we're dispensing with his curly locks and creating this more sort of wavy effect. But yeah, so I mean, when you, I don't think we didn't tell people what parts they were auditioning for when you came to the audition. We just sort of said it's the Seven Magnificent Seven actors. Did you do any kind of prep before you came in?
Yeah, I mean, I'd learned, funnily enough, the Horst monologue at the start, because I had an idea, obviously knowing Simon, that that's what he thought I would be to my strength. So I'd learned that off by heart at that point, and I'd learned the interview scene. I mean, the text does give you quite a lot. I'm very much sort of text-based actor, so when I sort of take on a role, if you've got a lot to read and a lot to work from, like you have in the book, you can sort of pick things up from there about his character types. And obviously, with it being a satire, you do have that sort of luxury of being able to push it a little bit further, and it being a comedy as well. It's it was a good one to sort of look at and really sort of see where and how far you could push the character to comedic effect.
Because I mean, I thought you grasped him pretty quickly.
Oh, thanks.
And yeah, there was. I mean, we saw a couple of other people that we considered for that part, but I remember when we came to sort of, okay, we talked about best contenders for each role. And as soon as we said Horst, it was just like we both went Toby straight away. So there you go. Take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
So what's been okay, so you got the part, of course. We had that first read through, which seems like forever ago now. What did you do once you got the role to sort of learn more about the man? Because he's got quite, I mean, if you just read the Wikipedia page, all Wikipedia pages seem to have been watered down quite substantially recently. I don't know if you've noticed that, but there used to be the personal life sections on Wikipedia page used to be pretty big, and there was a lot of detail. Now, I think probably privacy laws and things like that. But he was quite a complex man. He wasn't. He wasn't a straightforward guy.
No, absolutely, as you say, and I mean, obviously, we sort of touch on it in the play and about his sort of bisexuality and him being, you know, a bit of a socialite, a bit of a playboy, if you will. He liked to have sort of parties and things with the locals. His wife living in Paris, like we said, and him living in Berlin. He had, a very sort of say open relationship, but he didn't actually really address that until sort of the 2000s. Really, was when it came out of, well, at least it came to public knowledge about his bisexuality. So it was always one of those sort of unwritten rule, unsaid things, which again we play into in the text there, and we do play on that quite a lot. But yeah, no, I watched on YouTube. I tried to find interviews of him and things, and there was a one called "What's My Line," which is it's up there from 1962, where it's basically a chat show, and celebrities would go on there, almost like blind date, if you will. So behind this wall, there will be an actor who's trying to sort of trick the other actors who they do know personally to not guess who they are. And there's a relationship he had with one of the female actresses. I can't exactly remember her name, but she gets him straight from the off, and she's there with her husband, and he's like, "Oh, glad you seem to have such a personal relationship with my wife," which can sort of show you what sort of a guy he was and the relationships he had with people. So, I mean, that was a thing. Obviously, watching him in The Magnificent Seven, seeing that character that he portrays, Chico is, quite the macho guy, but in our play, in the script, he's also got that feminine side too. So it's that nice sort of antithesis between the characters, who is he and who is Chico, and just being able to sort of play with those really in the script. And it does obviously help having a director who wrote the play, because you get a bit of a general idea of what you were thinking as well with your idea of it too. And I think we've landed somewhere quite nicely, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he's quite a fun character to play, isn't he, in the show?
For sure.
And,
if you come down, you get to see me in chaps.
That's right. I had them specially made for Toby, and they seem to be the perfect fit, which is just sheer luck there.
Breathe in, bit of a squeeze. There we are. The things we do.
Yeah, so I mean, you also play in the play. You also play the role of Eli Wallach, who, of course, is another massive, iconic actor. I mean, he was still around and popping up in films, I think, well into the 90s, if I remember rightly. I mean, he was predominantly a New York stage actor. He would do sort of film and television work to survive. I think he had a recurring role on LA Law as a judge who was starting to suffer from dementia, and would sort of like segue into these kind of random stories in the middle of his court proceedings, and then tie that into an issue of law. But they sort of gradually got more and more surreal and outlandish, and in the end, like, several lawyers banded together to have him removed because he was legally no longer competent. So that was I remember seeing that, and the Barbara Streisand movie Nuts. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I haven't seen Nuts, no, actually. I'll add that to my list.
I would have thought that would be mandatory watching, but it's it's a good film that Streisand also produced,
Mm.
where she's plays a high class escort who kills her client in self defense, played by Naked Gun's Leslie Nielsen, and in a rare serious role, you know.
Yeah.
She's on trial. She has to go on trial. She has to be assessed first to see if she can go, if she's sane enough to stand trial, and then so she can conduct her own defense. And Richard Dreyfuss plays the lawyer that's kind of brought in to prove that she is sane. So yeah, it's a good little film.
For sure. I need something to do before we go to bed before rehearsal, so perhaps I'll give
Yeah,
that
there we go.
little
Yeah, that
look. There we are.
1988. I think it came out in 1988.
Yeah.
I mean, did you obviously you watched? Was that what was it the first time that you watched The Magnificent Seven? For this play, was that the first time you'd ever seen the movie?
I don't know if I'd seen it ages ago, but I went back and obviously watched it before the audition. Annoyingly, I actually went and watched the Bloomin' 2017 version first, and then I twigged.
You watched the wrong one before the audition.
Well, I twigged after I'd watched that one. I'd watched that for 2 hours, and I went, "This doesn't seem right." Sort of reading the audition script, and then I watched the original, and I was like, "Oh, now it makes sense." Before the audition, so yeah, no, that was definitely the first time I'd seen the 17 one, but I might have seen. My dad obviously used to be a big fan of westerns, but I must have been sort of 4 or 5 in my early years. So no, going back to it and watching it, I was like, okay. I see this Chico guy. I like him. He could be fun.
Because Eli Wallach played in a number of westerns.
I've lost your audio there, mate.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Oh, what's happening? Yeah, I can hear you. Hang on. Let me come in and come out. Boom. Can you hear me now? Hello, hello, hello. Let me take this down. Okay, we seem to have some communication difficulties. So
I've got no audio.
You've got no audio. Oh, that's okay. I can hear Toby, but Toby can't hear me. So okay, I'm going to pop a question up for you. Here you go. Okay, I don't think he realizes that you can hear us. We can hear you. Okay, let me put that. This is proving entertaining. This has not happened before, but it had to happen one day. Here you go. And by the way, we can hear you. So we can hear you.
Shall I leave and re-enter?
Yeah, let's try that. Yes, try that. Okay, all right. So we're gonna. I need to check to see if my audio is coming out. Okay, let me just go on to the Yeah, my audio is working fine. So I don't know why he couldn't hear me. Yeah, Wormy Spoons can hear everything. Yeah, that's what I thought. So all right. We'll see if this has fixed the problem.
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Well, we could hear you the whole time. Chat could hear both of us the whole time, but you just couldn't hear me.
How unusual. Apologies.
So we'll carry on. So we were talking about Eli Wallach.
Yes.
And obviously he was mainly known for his stage work. That was his first love. You know, he lived in New York most of his life. This is him in McKenna's Gold, which is another western that he did in 1969. He also did a Sergio Leone movie and a number of others. I mean, here he is with Clint Eastwood in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is the other role. That was 1966. So I don't think he would have been cast in these sort of. They're always borderline villains or anti-heroes that he plays in the westerns, or straight up villains. I don't think he'd be cast in any of these if he turned down the role
No,
in season 7.
yeah, no, it's quite a commanding role as well. Isn't it? It's actually one of my favourite scenes in the play. The Calvera scene that we have there with the bandits and stuff, and really sort of getting to go into that because it's quite different to everything else we do in the scenes with regards to. I think he's a really fun guy to get into. I did hear an interesting story about Eli Wallach. I think he almost died on the set of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I think he ended up drinking acid or something at one point. 3 times apparently he almost died in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
How was it that he ended up drinking acid?
I can't remember. I just was reading a story about it, and the one of the things that popped out to me was that he almost died 3 times. Let me see if I can find it.
So here you are playing Eli. We'll zoom in a little bit with your gang of Mexican.
Oh, is this the picture? Yeah, there we are.
Your gang of Mexican bandits in the background. So this is actually a still from the play. We've got actors Paul McLaughlin. I might be pronouncing that name slightly incorrectly. Forgive me, Paul, if that's the case. Tristan. We've got Tristan Tom Patrick Coley there. Simon Berry. Tristan Pegg, isn't it? Yeah. So I nearly called this the Toby Pegg interview. That would have been incorrect. So here you are playing Eli Wallach with the finest red shirt as specified.
And the finest horse, that's how I see him.
Yeah, there's the finest horse.
There it is.
And you don't have the finest horse, which has gone to Yul Brynner. But
yeah. We'll let you off, I suppose.
Snorter Poopers has said, I think the acid was in a soda bottle, but unlabeled, and he mistook it for soda. Oh,
yes, that sounds about right. I think it was placed next to his bottle or something, and he just picked it up accidentally, and
Damn, you don't want to be doing that by accident, do you?
No, no. Let's hope that doesn't happen in rehearsals for this play.
So what? I mean, I think there's more online in terms of like interviews and things with Eli than with Horst. There's a couple of interviews, but not an abundance. And as you say, he was on What's My Line and stuff like that. But I mean, with when it comes to Eli Wallach, there's quite a lot out there. There's fair few.
So a fair few chat shows and things. He was on one with Johnny Carson just to try and get his real mannerisms, to be honest. Obviously, in the play, it's an interesting one because we are doing Horst's interpretation of Eli Wallach. So
that's right. Yeah.
Didn't want to give
the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to give it just to be the character. I did want there to be a clear difference between the two. So obviously, Eli is this well-established Broadway actor. He holds himself very confidently, things like that. And so I wanted to be there a good difference between the two characters, but also there's still to be a little bit of Horst in there because obviously that's the idea. He's all of the characters in the play, apart from of course Yul Brynner, are doubling as other people and giving their interpretations of them.
Yeah, I totally forgot about this movie that he did in 1966 with Peter O'Toole called How to Steal a Million. And I know I've watched it. I know as a kid I really enjoyed it. I saw it when I was probably about 10, something like that. It was on TV one Sunday afternoon. And I remember really liking it. It's got Audrey Hepburn in it as well. I feel like I need to rewatch this. Because all I can remember is that I enjoyed it, thought it was a lot of fun, and I think it's one of those roles that Eli Wallach has a ton of fun in. Although he looks like he's having a good time here in Kisses for My President, 1964. I think those glasses that woman is wearing, I think those glasses are in our play.
Yeah, very potentially the real deal.
Has it been doing an 8-hander show, and talk us, give my viewers a bit of an overview of what it's like doing a play on the London Fringe, and why actors do those things, and what are the positives, what are the negatives.
For sure. No, it's been really nice work. We've got such a lovely cast, I think, which is the first and foremost, the most important thing.
That really helps.
Yeah, everyone, despite the name of the play, there isn't really any egos in the cast, which is really nice. And we all get on really well, and have a good laugh, go for lunch, whatever, pint after the rehearsals and things. That people you actually enjoy spending time with, and also really talented creatives as well. So you can, sort of push the boundaries, try new things out, and I think that's what Fringe is so good for. Really, it's new works, it's new spaces, trying things out to see how if it works or if it doesn't. And I think we've landed somewhere quite nicely with this particular play. I do think it is, it's really funny. People have found things in parts of the script that I hadn't initially picked up in with their characters, and hopefully I've done some things with Horst that people won't expect as well. So it's a nice sort of sandbox to try new things out. I think the Fringe, I think, is very important. It's an important sort of pipeline for new theatre and new works, and getting them out there, getting them seen, and seeing how they go. So can't wait to really get it up on stage, to be honest, from Wednesday.
So I mean, to someone who's not from London and doesn't know what the theatre sort of London Fringe scene is, just can you give a sort of an overview in layman's terms, how that differs from going to see, the Book of Mormon in the West End, where you're in a large auditorium with a royal circle and the stalls, and then you have the upper circle and you've got royal boxes, and the contrary to that is a Fringe venue, which is what?
Black box theatre, basically. So it's our venues are above the Alden Rose and Crown pub. So again, sort of somewhere where you wouldn't expect there to be a theatre in this hub of creativity. You go into what is essentially a room which is just a blank canvas with we've got raised seating chairs at the back and on the side, so it's almost promenade theatre. We've got the ones in front, the ones on the left, and then there's some extra overflow seats on the right. So it's not a typical stage as what you would expect it to be, sort of front on. But it's a really nice way to, as you say, see new works and go to places where you wouldn't necessarily, you think you're going for a pint and you end up watching a great show. So that's quite good.
Yeah, it's a nice space. I've worked on a lot of black box theatres, sort of capacities of between 50 and 150, and I really like this one, actually, and it's been great fun. We've still got 2 days to go before we're up, so we're up in 3 days, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. 2 big tech and dresses to go, and a bit more flyering, and then we'll be there and we'll be off.
So tell us about your undeniable chemistry with Rosenda Monteros.
Rosenda Monteros.
As seen in here on this poster.
There we are. Yeah, that's us, in case you didn't recognise.
Yeah, I mean, the resemblance is unmistakable. Absolutely. The hair's more curly in that shot, so if you just darken your hair a bit, it's gonna be spot on.
Absolutely, black hair dye. That'd be the next. The straighteners and the black hair dye will be unrecognisable. But no, yeah, she's a great actor, and as I say, we toy with that in the play. It's almost more of a longing on my behalf, really, I think, because of the way we've staged it and her affections for a particular director. But she's a great actor, and it's great fun doing the scenes with her and getting to sort of, when we have these little intersections in the play where we sort of reenact what's going on in the Magnificent Seven, and then we cut, and then obviously you see what's going on around there. So building those what would be on-screen relationships as well as the off-screen ones, obviously that play too.
I mean, here's an interesting point, because I remember having this discussion. So you're saying the original actors had egos, especially Brennan McQueen. Who knew? I would say that the 7 magnificent egos in the title of the play does not refer to the 7 actors. It refers definitely to McQueen, definitely to Brynner, and I think perhaps to a lesser degree, much lesser degree, Brad Dexter, because he was certainly trying to get his part enlarged. That's on the record. I would also say that it refers to Eli Wallach, because he was a big name by then already. So he was able to command certain things. I would say probably also refers to Horst Buchholz, but not Coburn and not Vaughan. And probably not Bronson at that stage in his career. We probably make Bronson a bit more egotistical in the play than he probably was at that time. So I think the other 3 would, as depicted in our show, would probably be Monteros, Mirish, and Anthony Quinn. When you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's an interesting perspective that came up in conversation once before. But which of the apart from the characters that you're playing, which of the other characters do you like?
I do really like Chuck Bronson as well. I think it's it's a great character. And Tom's done a great job there. I think his characterization of it as well, it's just really good fun. We have a few moments, me and him, obviously without giving anything away, where at one point he almost tries to beat me up, and I'm like, okay, leave me alone.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of playful banter between my character and his, which is good fun. I mean, there is with all of them really, but that's one of my sort of favourite moments with another character on stage.
Yeah, this scene I know is going to get massive laughs.
Oh god, that's a great scene. Yeah. When we did the audition, actually, I played one of the kids, and I had great fun with it. So I was a bit upset that my guy doesn't double as that, but there we are. We've got other things going on.
Yeah, I mean and the doubling of the roles really all worked around practicality, kind of like when I did all of that, I was trying to make sure because it's an ensemble piece, you're trying to make sure everybody
of course,
gets about it, and a roughly similar kind of time on stage, similar number of lines. But actually, Tom Patrick Coley, who plays Charles Bronson, does a brilliant job. And he also plays Anthony Quinn. He's probably got the least lines in the play, I think, because Bronson doesn't say loads when he's on. He just chucks out the occasional line here and there.
Talks with his brawn.
Yeah, indeed. Fantastically funny. So what can people that are coming to see the show, what should they expect from their night at the theatre coming to see 7 magnificent egos?
Well, first and foremost, a whole load of laughs, hopefully. I think it's a really funny piece. It's also quite informative as well. Obviously, we do take creative license, but you learn a fair few things. I mean, I learned a lot about the sort of behind the scenes of the Magnificent Seven and the actors and what they were like, and a lot of the sort of things that went on in bringing the film to life, and contracts and things and stuff that you don't even realize when you watch the films. So if you are a fan of the Magnificent Seven, it's very, very interesting. And if you just like a good laugh, because who doesn't, with the way the world is at the moment, it's a really nice couple of hours to take your mind off the state of it all at the moment, and enjoy a new piece of theatre, and hopefully get entertained.
I mentioned earlier, if anyone's got any questions for Toby, please put them in the chat. We did have one earlier when we were having the difficulties of sound issues, so let's come back to it now. As an actor, was it difficult to differentiate how you would play 2 such different people in one play? That's a great question.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I was saying earlier, it is with regards to this play, it's Horst's interpretation of the character. So there is, to a certain degree, it is still the same guy playing Eli. Horst is playing Eli in the play, but of course you want to pick up on some different mannerisms. I mean, Horst first and foremost was an actor, so he's trying to embody Eli as best he can, but obviously there's still a few bits that I want to come through as an actor to make you sort of still believe that it's Horst. So no, that was really interesting, and again, sort of watching interviews, like I said, of the various different characters, and in particular their roles inside of the Magnificent Seven did help to sort of build those character profiles, and it's all good fun, really. It's part of the process. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. What have you got coming up in the future, and what are you doing to stay proactive as an actor, not aside from relying on the agent to get you those calls and those meetings?
Yeah,
What else are
absolutely.
you doing?
So, I mean, very recently, we've just shot a friend of mine just wrote and directed his first feature film, which we literally did the week before the rehearsals. So we were up in Northampton shooting a horror feature for a week. So sort of trying to create our own work as well, I think is really important at the moment, because you don't know when the next job is going to come. So if you put your own things out into the world, work with your friends, work with other actors, also, applying for things on sites like Mandy or Backstage, there's always opportunities and things, friends that, I've worked with in the past that put up castings for table reads, stuff like that. So yeah, always try and keep my hand in as much as I can and make as much time for it as well. So yeah, just trying to do everything I can, really.
I mean, it's not cheap to be an actor, to stay proactive. You've got to have, if you're serious about it, you've got to be on Spotlight.
Yep.
And Spotlight costs, I think now, something ridiculous, like
£18 a month.
250 quid a year or whatever. It feels like it's become a bit of a racket.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
that's just Spotlight, isn't it? And then if you do Mandy as well and things like that, that's another 15 Star Now, etc. I mean, I only tend to do sort of Mandy and Spotlight and normally I just resub for those when it comes around. At least with Mandy.
Explain to the uninitiated, those people watching, what is the difference between Spotlight, which is, by the way, it's the National UK casting sort of actors directory. It's kind of like the actors phone book. You basically have your headshot in there and sort of links to your show reel, that kind of thing. And there used to be the Spotlight books way back in the day. You could go into Spotlight, pull out these huge encyclopedias, and everybody's headshots would be in there alphabetically. I don't know if you ever saw those, Toby. Yeah, I don't know if they still do those.
No, it must have been a bit before my time. I think
it was like a library. You'd go in and they'd have them all in a row. And you'd be going in, and there'd be other casting directors like looking through them.
Really?
So, now, of course, it's all online. So that's Spotlight. How does Mandy work differently from that?
So Mandy is just a website in which you can pay a monthly subscription fee for, and basically any sort of independent film director or play or anything, sort of that's not necessarily on your BBC level or the ones that you would normally get through Spotlight. So independent work, really. And you can apply, and it works quite similar to Spotlight in a way, because you have your profile, you have your headshots, you have your show reel, but it's not what's the word, accredited, I suppose you would use for Spotlight, because to get on Spotlight you have to have either gone to drama school or have 3 professional film and TV credits. Mandy, you don't. Anyone can be on there and sign up, and anyone can pay to get headshots and do a show reel. So if anyone is sort of looking to start off their acting journey, then I do think Mandy, Star Now, Backstage, those 3 of websites that offer pretty much the same thing, but all want to charge you £15 a month for it. So best to pick one and see how you go. But it's quite a nice way to reach out to new people that you might not have worked with in the past. If you see a project or a script that you think's interesting, you want to audition for that. It's more I control that one, whereas an agent will control your Spotlight and submit you for things on there. Just a way to keep trying to move, keep chipping away, really, and try and get more work.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, I think you have to be proactive, but you've also got to be choosy in terms of where you put your financial resources, especially these days.
For sure. Yeah.
But this is a great shot of you, Horst, at the audition.
There you go.
I do love that shirt. I like the way Manos is like he's deliberately got this hairy chest
Yeah.
on display, you know, in this shot. Who's a wonderful actor, Manos Koustis, who's playing Yul Brynner, and commitment to the role. He shaved his head, especially to play this part, you know.
On Tuesday, that was cool. I remember walking past on my lunch and seeing him being maimed in the barbers. So fair play.
He actually looks really good with it. I mean, I
He
know, I
does
think he
look
just
good.
thinks we're all buttering him up, but he actually it's a look that really suits him.
Yeah, no.
Kind of gives him a really distinct look, whereas before he was just another guy with a mopper head and glasses, but now he's got a very, very specific look. So yeah, I mean, Snorts Poopers is asking, I wonder if Yul went bald for this. He absolutely did. Are Yul? Yul Brynner was already bald by the time he did the Magnificent Seven. So yeah. What's been before we begin to wrap up? What's been the most difficult or challenging thing about doing the show?
I think when I first read the script, I said, he's German. That's interesting. And I hadn't really delved into German accents in the past. I'm quite strong with my American. German was a new thing for me. So it was really trying to get the accent down and the characterization behind that. And again, sort of listening to multiple different people in terms of German speakers speaking English, trying to get as much of Horst as I could, although it's very limited. His actual interviews and things, apart from those sort of talk shows, and they're with quite an American twang. So to try and get that German accent, I was trying to find, different people who I think who are German, who do speak English, who I could put my voice inside, and then try and characterize Horst around that too. So I think that was the biggest challenge, and looking at pronunciation and sort of trawling YouTube and sort of dialect things. I mean, I do think being a singer helps massively when it comes to accents, because you do sort of know how to work your voice and where to position it. And German's a lot sort of in the front of the mouth there, but there are certain things like, you're not supposed to say yes, you say more ja, and things like that, and different words and letters that they pronounce. So I think that really was the sort of one to try and get authentically, and that was I think we're pretty much there. I'm quite confident and happy with my accent now.
Fantastic. And I mean, is there anything else that people can see you in? What's the best way for people to follow you, kind of, or reach out to you if they, someone might be watching this and going, that's exactly the kind of person I need for that part?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I'll pop a little link in the description to my Mandy, just with my show reels and bits and bobs on there. Probably the best way to do it if anyone needs anything.
Yeah, pop it if you pop it in the private chat. I can actually put it up during the stream.
Yeah, fantastic.
If you want to type it in quickly.
Let me just log in so I can get the link.
So right, so Toby is appearing in 7 Magnificent Egos along with another 7 magnificent actors, because there's 8 in the cast altogether, and it's a great play. It's really fun. I mean, it's actually one of the few plays that I've done that I would say is not only suitable for children, but I think kids will enjoy it. And one of my friends is putting that to the test. She's coming with all 3 of her daughters, the youngest of which is 6. So really looking forward to having some children there to see how the show resonates with them, because there is a lot of fun, almost childlike elements in it for kids, I suppose, because it's the way we're doing the comedy, and the props and the staging of stuff is kind of bonkers in places. So I'd be interested to see if children find it funny and they get into it, or if they're a bit bored. But I think with Manos scaring people on the front row, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure, anyone who comes will be very much entertained. It's a really great piece, and we'll just have a bit of fun with it, and try and tell the story as best we can. But highly recommend. I'm just trying to find this link for you because apparently I've forgot my password. It's not on my Mac, it's on my iPhone. So I'm just trying to get to the.
I'll find it. Which is the best link for people to sort of follow you or whatever?
That's all right. I'm sending it over to you now, my friend.
Very good.
Bringing up the account, and hopefully that'll work.
This is a great photo, by the way, which I think is very telling about some of the dynamics on the set of the Magnificent Seven. This is like a behind-the-scenes picture. Now I'm not sure what they're chopping there. I don't think that's a pineapple.
Coconut, maybe.
Coconut. Yeah, I think it's a coconut.
Yeah.
Somebody said that's not how you chop a coconut. It may well not be, but I love the way like Bronson is sort of hanging back at a safe distance because he was never good in groups of people. That's what a great person to have dinner with one-to-one. Vaughan and James Coburn are kind of still relatively new kids on the block. Vaughan in his Hitler Youth shorts. My dad had a pair of shorts like that as well. Actually, I've got a picture of him from this kind of era in very similar attire. But Horst, he's got the checkered sort of Grand's tablecloth trousers on, so a bit more sophistication from Horst here. And then you've got Brad Dexter on the right, who is the character that no one can ever remember, who I get to play. There you go. Oh yeah, okay. Another question for you, Toby, while you're searching for that link. What role would you like to play? If you could pick a role, it might be a Marvel character, or could be, a Chekhov play, or could be Shakespeare, could be anything. But is there an iconic role that you've always wanted to play?
Iconic role I've wanted to play. That's very funny, actually, because I know we spoke about Horst and what could have been for him, but I'd love to have played, or would love to play, Tony. I might be getting a bit too old for that these days, but funnily enough, that would be one of the dream roles, I think, particularly in music.
So Tony in West Side Story, which was, you tell the story quickly about that.
It's basically Romeo and Juliet, to be honest.
No, not the story of West Side Story. Tell the story of what happened with Horst.
Of Horst, yeah, of course. Yeah. So he was I believe sorry.
I know it's 9 o'clock on a Sunday, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah. No, we're so basically it was the Mirish brothers who create the Magnificent Seven. I believe they went on to do West Side Story afterwards, and Horst was pretty much offered the role of Tony, which is the lead in West Side Story. Now, due to some scheduling conflicts, I think it was a film called Fanny or something, very Horst, he wasn't actually able to do it, and had he have really taken that role and gone down that route, his career probably would have blown up, particularly on the back of the Magnificent Seven and things. But the other films that he did do, they didn't quite have such a traction. So
was it a scheduling conflict, or was it that he made the wrong choice?
I'm pretty sure it was a scheduling conflict for the for West Side Story. There was another play that he filming schedule conflicts. There was another film that he did turn down, which was because he was advised against it. I can't remember the name of it, unfortunately, and that went on to be quite a successful one. But I think he might have got a bit of wrong advice at different times, and also just got unlucky with scheduling conflicts, because obviously West Side Story went on to be huge.
Yeah, because I mean, Mirish, he also produced Fiddler on the Roof later. Great Escape, as we know.
Yes.
And I mean, he produced Some Like It Hot, West Side Story, and By Love Possessed immediately, sort of in the aftermath of Magnificent Seven. So I'm guessing that it was probably Mirish that said, "Hey, you know, let's get him in West Side Story."
As
And
Paul
I
would say,
right,
the kid's good.
he would have made a good
Yeah,
Tony for sure.
definitely. Yeah, he's a
And
very pretty man, or was anyway.
George Chakiris played Bernardo in that, who's one of my favorite actors from back in the day. And he's still around, man. He's like he's he was born in 1932, so I don't know how old that makes him now. But yeah, George Chakiris is I think it's Chakiris you pronounce his son. He's still around.
Yeah,
I keep forgetting that Natalie Wood played Maria in the movie version.
yeah. No,
As
it's
well.
a great film, very much ahead of its time. Fantastic score as well. Some beautiful. I mean, I think I was singing those in rehearsals the other day, wasn't I? But changed the word Maria to Monteros.
Yeah, and it was. I think we were talking about that actress. You know, the one. It might have been Rita Moreno who was the actress.
Yes. I
Yeah,
remember you said about.
not Rita Rivera. I think it was Rita Moreno actually who was the actress that turned up at the West End to watch West Side Story in the 80s, which I went to see. And
Yeah, Rita Monero, Anita, she played, didn't she?
yeah, Rita Moreno went backstage to, I think, you know, sort of congratulate the actress who was playing the same role. And that actress was extremely high maintenance and was causing a lot of problems on the show. I forget her name. And she said, "No, I don't want to see this woman. I don't know this. Who's Rita Moreno?" She didn't know her. That's how hoity-toity she was. And maybe she didn't even watch the original movie. Who knows? But yeah. So, but then the rest of the cast came down, and some of them recognised her when she was getting turned away at the stage door, and she took them all out for a drink. And then the next day, they all came back in and said, "Oh, you know, we went out for a drink with Rita Moreno last night, and that was who you told to go away." Quite a silly story that. So 7 Magnificent Egos Friday is sold out. We've got tickets left for the other remaining 5 shows. Not loads of them, but there are tickets left. Do check out the other work of Toby Watts, and if you do come down to the show, you can have your photograph taken with Horst Buchholz before the show starts. So he's arranged it especially,
Absolutely.
which will be fun time. Well, look, we'll wrap it up there. Toby, thanks. That's an hour. Thanks very much for coming in.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
It's been great fun working with you and seeing, you know, the stuff you put into the role, and you're always coming up with great ideas, and you know, the kind of actor that I love to work with. I'm sure this won't be the only time that we're going to work together. So the link for booking tickets is in the information below, but it is the Old Rose and Crown in Walthamstow. Very easy to get to from the Victoria line. It's 5 minutes walk from the station. It's not the Big Flash Soho Theatre on the left that we have to walk past to go to rehearsals. It looks very glamorous and glitzy. It's the small pub on the other side, a little bit further down the street. And yeah, Wormy Spoon says, break a leg, guys. Yeah, I appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. And yeah, good luck with the play from a couple of my regulars, channel regulars there. So yeah, next week at the Old Rose and Crown, do come and see us. It's going to be a fun time. And yeah, I think anyone can enjoy this play. You don't need to be a fan of Westerns. You don't need to be a fan of the original movie. You just need to have a sense of humor, really, to enjoy this show, and you'll get a lot out of it. Yeah, that's it from us. We'll be back. I did say that I'm not doing a Nielsen ratings on Tuesday. I might recant on that, actually. I might still do one. I'm going to see how I feel when I get in from rehearsal. So we'll see where we're at. I might be a bit tired. Depends how long Tuesday goes and how easy Tuesday is. But yeah, until then, anyway. And then once the play is out the way in October, I will be increasing my number of streams and interviews back to the kind of normal number. So I'll be probably doing two to three things a week. Not as many as last year because I still have a lot of other stuff I've got to do, and I've got to be careful not to overwork myself. A bit of a workaholic. So, but there will be more content coming towards the end of October, going into the winter months of the end of 2025. That's it from me and Toby. Yeah, we'll see you again soon, or we'll see you at the theatre next week for 7 Magnificent Egos. Till then, bye.
Take care. See you later.